Hey everyone, hope you're all doing great. Welcome back to this Python learning. In this video, we are going to discuss about the most important thing that are string methods and also the functions. Okay. So first thing, there are very few string functions. First one is like a print. Let's say for example, you define a string like this is equal to Jivata, and if you want to display the value of a variable a, you're just gonna use a print. Print is used for displaying a value. Okay. And then we have a length. What if I need to find the number of characters in a given string? Let's say I have a string like a Python. I just want to find like how many characters are there in this. I'll just use length of p. Can you see? Python, there are like 6 characters. So similarly, what if I want to check what is the type of p? We know that it's a string, right? But how do you question a Python? Let's just use a type function. So this is how you will print and you will find the number of characters and also the string. Now you might have a question, do space is also considered like a character? Let's check out. Let's say, for example, you have b is equal to sequelius. So basically, how many characters are there? Sequel 3 letter, E is 2 letters. So total it should be 5, right? But it's going to give me 6 because space is also a character. See, as I increase the number of spaces, every space is counted as, one particular string, one character. I mean, like a character. Understood? So this is all about, basic string functions that you need to master. So one more important thing is coming to a string properties. Okay, in our string properties, obviously the first property is going to be strings are ordered. Strings takes a fixed position so that indexing and slicing is possible. Okay, so indexing and slicing is possible. Already I've uploaded specific video related to this, so I'm not really interested in showing again. Indexing, slicing is possible. Okay, next important property of a strings are, strings are mutable or immutable. Actually, strings are immutable. Immutable in the sense you cannot change. Let's say, for example, you have A is equal to sequel. Okay, I want to extract the first letter. I'll take a of 0. I'm just using normal indexing. And let me try to change that S with P. It throws an error because string object doesn't support changing element, adding new elements. It's not possible directly with the help of this indexing and slicing. Usually we call strings are immutable. This is how you justify. Okay. Usually in interviews, people can ask you, are strings mutable? Are strings immutable? What is the difference between string and a list? So you should be able to answer them. Okay. Now the interesting thing about a string is, there are different string methods. The first method is upper method. Upper is a method which is used to convert your string into an uppercase, capital letter. Let's say, for example, you have your name in a small letters. Okay, you need to convert this into an uppercase. First, call your object name and then just use a method name dot upper will give you name in a uppercase. Similarly, what if in case you have your name in a lowercase? Oh, sorry, what if you have it in a uppercase? Now you want to convert uppercase to a lowercase. Then just use a method called as a lower. Just call your variable b dot lower is going to be lower. Upper to convert into capital letters, lower to convert uppercase into a lowercase. One more interesting thing that I have is basically, capitalize. Usually the place name and all should be, starting with first letter as a capital, right? So how do you make it capital? So I have taken place is equal to Bangalore. You can just use place dot capitalize. So capitalize is a method. What it will do, it will just convert your first letter of your word as a capital. See? Clear? Okay. Next thing, title. Let's say, for example, you have some titles. In titles, usually the first, I mean, like every word, first letter should be capital, right? So that change will be done with a title. Let's say, for example, you have some text is equal to, yeah. So I just have a text like, Times of India. And this Times of India, every word, first letter should be capital. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just use b dot title. This is going to help me in finding, or this is going to convert every word first letter into a capital. That is title. Okay, next interesting one is like a swap case. Let's say, for example, you have text in a lowercase. It will, if you just use the swap case, place dot, I'll just say swap case. So it will swap into an uppercase. Let's say you have a combination of upper and lower. Can you see? Wherever you have an uppercase becomes lower, lower becomes a upper. So that is a swap case. Okay, interesting one. Next one, count method. So let's say, for example, you have a text like this. I have a string like, Python is easy. Only if we study or only if we practice Python programs or Python program, right? So now I just want to find the count of Python. I just want to know like how many Pythons are there, count of Python. Very simple. Just call text dot count of. I'm looking for Python, right? Yeah. Text dot count, you just need to mention the word or a character that you are looking for. So clearly there are two Pythons. Same question, I'll do little bit modification. What if one Python is in a capital letter? What if other Python is in a small letter? See, it's giving me only one. But irrespective of a case, what if I want to find like how many Pythons are there? What do people can do now? You can just apply text dot. You can convert text into some case, either lower or upper, and then you can try to apply the count. First, it will convert your text into a lowercase, and then it looks for a Python. Similarly, you can also convert into an uppercase. In that case, you have to give Python which is in a uppercase. Clear? This is all about a count. Next important method is index. Index basically tells you index position of a first character when we have repeated ones. Okay, let's say for example, I'll take a text itself. Okay, I just want to find index position of a Python. Okay, I'll just call text dot. I'll just use index of. I'll call a Python. So clearly, it's going to take index of the first Python, wherein Python is starting with an index 0. Clear? So this is how index is going to work, which helps in finding the index position of a character or maybe the word. Okay. So next important thing is, what if you want to find index position of the first character when we have a repeated one? There is another option, okay? Instead of using a text, you can also use find. You can use text, sorry, you can use index or you can use a find. Both is going to help you in finding index position of first occurring character. If it's repeated multiple times, it takes the first occurring one index. Usually it's used for index position, finding index position. But now the question is like, what is the difference that you notice between both? Right? Let's say, for example, you have a Python. Okay, I'll just use a dot index of, I just want to find index of n. So, sorry, n should be within a string. So now this is going to help me in finding index. Great. Okay. Now, what if I try to find something which is not available? Look, index is going to give an error if you are looking for index position of a character which is not available. But you know what happens with a find? So find doesn't throw any error. Rather, it just gives a simple answer like -1. When you get -1, it is understood that, okay, that particular character is not available. Got it? So similarity wise, both are used to find index values. Difference, index gives an error when character is not present, but find doesn't give you any error, rather it just gives you -1. Now you should be a little cautious when you are using in a program. If you want to see an error, then use an index. If you don't want to see an error, if you want to just ignore it, then it's always good to use a -1. That is find concept, so that it doesn't really give you error, rather it just gives a simple -1. That's, a way of avoiding errors in your Python. Okay. All right. So next interesting thing about our string methods is we have a replace method. You know what does replace does? Let's say, for example, you have a string like, Python is hard. I just want to replace that hard with easy. Okay. So how do you replace? Simple. Just call your a dot replace. So you have to pass a old text. So what we have to replace? We have to replace hard, right? With what? First, it has to find hard, and then it has to replace with a new value. So it should be old value, comma, new value. That's how you replace the existing text in a Python. Okay. And the next important thing, what if you want to split a text over a certain space? Let's say, for example, you have a text, right? So which is Python is easy. Let me just take this text, which is Python is easy. I want to split this text into a list of words, okay? So in that case, I'll just use a dot split, and I'm not specifying anything within a bracket because by default, wherever you have a space, it is breaking down and it is converting into a list of words. This is first case. What if in case you have any special characters or a delimiters? I would say like, what if you have an hyphen like this, but still you want to split it? When there are special characters, or if you want to split over any character or any special characters, then you should mention that special character within a bracket. Look, wherever you have an hyphen, it's getting divided. Okay, hope you are getting. Wherever you can see the hyphen, it's splitting your text into a list of words. Similarly, what if in case we have, at the rate, only one character it will take, it will not take a multiple ones, only one. Okay, let me just say like at the rate, see? It is splitting your text into multiple words. Wherever you have an at the rate, it is splitting. So this is all about a split. Okay. So just opposite of split is basically the join. You know what happens? If you have a list of words, let's say for example, you have a list of words and you want to combine them into a single string. That's where we use a concept called as a join. So very simple, we want result in a string format, right? First create a one empty string. Okay. And then just dot join and you have to pass your list. Look, it's giving me Python is easy, right? But I want a space between them. How to give space? Simple. You created empty string at the beginning. Now just give one space. Look, you got a Python is easy with one space. If you want some special character, let's say you want hyphen between every word, yeah, you can give hyphen within that empty string. This is how join works. Split is used for splitting a text. Join is used for combining a list of words. Hope it's clear? Yeah. Next interesting thing, probably two more methods we have, strip and a format. Strip is a method which is used to remove the white spaces or special characters before and after your text. Okay, so that means, let's say, for example, you have a text like this. A is equal to, can you see some white spaces? And I'll just say Python. Before a Python, after a Python, you could see some white spaces, right? We call them like a trial spaces or white spaces. I want to remove them. How do you remove? We just use a function called as a strip. See a dot strip. It just removed all the white spaces which were before a Python and after a Python. Okay, this is one case. What if you want to remove only left side? You can just use L strip. Can you see? Everything got removed only from a left side. From left side, all the white spaces got removed. What if you want to remove something from right side? You can just use R strip. R strip is going to help you in remove white spaces from a right side. Left side is as it is. Got it? Not just white spaces. What if you have a string something like this? Let's say you have a string, not with a white spaces, but with some unnecessary special characters. Before and after a text only you can remove it. Okay, so I'll just use b dot split. Just see. You need to mention the character that you have to remove. If it's a space, don't write anything within a bracket. If you want to remove the asterisk before and after sequence, just use an asterisk. Oh, sorry, it's not a split. It should be strip. I'm sorry. Yeah. Look, everything got removed. What if you want to remove from right side? What if you want to remove from left side? Just small change. L strip means it removes asterisk from left side. R strip means it removes asterisk from right side. Can you see? Okay. So I'll give one more interesting one. Okay. That is basically, let's say, for example, you have something like this. You have like multiple special characters. Okay. Yeah. And then you have a Python. Okay. Now the question is, can we remove these special characters before and after a Python? Actually, yes. You just need to use z.strip and you just need to mention everything, asterisk, you have an hash, you have a dollar symbol, you have an other rate, and you have a and symbol, right? Okay, and you can also use a percentage. Yes. Can you see? Everything got removed. Whatever special characters you have before and after a text can be easily removed with the help of a strip. I hope this is clear. All right, that's great. So next interesting thing about a string is like, formatting. We call it like a string format. Let's say, for example, string concatenation, let's say if you want to combine two words, how do you combine? Let's say A is equal to data, and if you have B is equal to science, we just use a plus operator, okay? A plus B gives you data science. If you want a space between them, just use A plus, give an empty space, and then plus B. Gives you data science with space in the middle. So now one more thing. Let's say, for example, you have A is equal to, okay, let's say I have age is equal to 30, and I have name is equal to some name. I'll just call it like a John. Okay, so now I want to print something like this. Basically, I want a statement like this. Okay, I want to print something like this. My name is John and 30 years old. Okay, my name is John and 30 years old. I want this particular statement. How do you get the statement? Simple, one way you can write it directly. But I want to write a statement in such a way that automatically it has to take a value of age and a name. Okay, so how to do that? Very simple. So I'll just use a format. First write F and then start writing your statement. So my name is. We don't know what is the name. Let's assume we don't know what is the name. Let's create a placeholder for a name. Okay, and we don't know the age. Let's create a placeholder for age. Let's say years old. Then see if I run. I have created placeholders and this F is responsible. F is format. F is responsible to take value of name and value of age and it will fill in those curly braces. Can you see? It's giving like my name is John and 30 years old. Understood. Let's say for example, one more, A equals 10 and I want to say B equals 20. I just want to find addition of 10 and 20 years, 30, I should get it. Okay, but I need to customize in such a way that every time I change A and B value, the statement should be automatically it should get changed with A and B values. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just say like sum of, okay, I'll say sum of A and B is C. Let's give it like, let's give an expression C is equal to A plus B. Just see, now if I run, it is giving me sum of 10 and 20 is 30. If I change my input to 100 and 200, still it has to change me like, sum of 100 and 200 is 300. This is an interesting thing about, string formatting. Okay, just like customizing your print statements according to your requirement. And this F basically helps you in creating placeholders and it will take value of your variable and it will place in that particular placeholder. You can use in another format as well. There is another way. Let me take the same example that is using dot format. Okay, print, you know the statement, right? It should be like sum of. So you know like where you want to put what? It should be sum of A and B is C. So I'm creating placeholder for A, I'm creating placeholder for B, then I'm creating placeholder for a C. So now what I'll do, I'll just use a dot format method, dot format, and I'm gonna pass variables like, A, B, C. Done. See? It's giving me sum of 100 and 200 is 300. So here you should be a little cautious. The order of variables that you pass should be the same because whatever you pass first will get filled in a first placeholder, second one in a second. So you have to follow the order. So my suggestion is it's always good to go with the F format, creating placeholders and directly giving a variable name so that you don't really, worry about the order and all. Okay, so this is all about, string methods and the functions. Hope it's clear. Happy learning.